Welcome back to Safe Simple Sound. In today's episode, we are diving into the shell and stone strategy, a practical and insightful approach to managing your finances. This strategy helps you distinguish between tools meant for long term growth, your shells, and those for your immediate needs, your stones. We will explore how this ties in with the Oyster method's key elements protection, preparation, persistence, and patience. Plus, we will unpack how it aligns with the secured beliefs to guide you towards smarter financial decisions. To bring these concepts to life, I am excited to have our AI voices break it all down. Let's get started.
Hey everyone, we're all about building wealth here, right?
Yeah,
Smartly and strategically.
absolutely.
So today,
Mm.
we are going to do a deep dive into something called the shell and stone strategy.
Okay,
Have you heard of this?
I have.
It's a fascinating approach to managing your finances,
Uh-huh.
thinking about which tools are your pearls
Right.
to be carefully protected for the long haul,
Yes.
and which are your stones,
Okay.
ready to be used for more immediate needs.
I like that analogy.
It all ties back to the idea of the Oyster method
Uh-huh.
and even connects to those secured beliefs we've talked about before.
Right.
I'm so excited to unpack all of this today.
Yeah, the shell and stone strategy.
Yeah.
What's interesting is it's not just a standalone idea.
Okay.
It's really a tactic within a broader framework
Right.
called the Oyster method.
Oh,
The Oyster method focuses on creating a protected environment for financial growth. Much like an oyster carefully builds a shell around a grain of sand, eventually creating a beautiful pearl.
okay. So the oyster analogy is more than just a catchy name.
Right.
But how does someone actually put the oyster method into action?
Yeah.
It seems a bit abstract.
Sure. So there are four key elements to the Oyster method:
Yeah.
protection, preparation, persistence, and patience.
Okay.
And we can actually see how these play out in real life with the story of Sarah.
Okay.
She was determined to tackle her student debt and build wealth at the same time,
Okay.
and she used the Oyster method to do it.
So Sarah's like our oyster facing the irritant of student loans.
Exactly.
I'm curious, how did she start building that protective shell
Yeah.
around her finances?
So first she focused on protection
Okay.
by automating her savings and investments. Think of it like setting up a direct deposit that sends a portion of each paycheck
Okay.
straight to a separate account for debt repayment
Okay.
and another for long-term investing.
Gotcha.
This way, the money is protected from impulse spending. That's that protected chamber the Oyster method talks about.
Okay. So automation equals protection. That makes sense.
Yeah.
What about the preparation part?
Sure.
Did she just wing it or was there a plan?
Oh, she had a plan.
Okay.
Sarah took the time to create a clear financial roadmap outlining her goals
Ah,
and mapping out a path to becoming debt-free within 10 years,
wow.
while simultaneously building a solid investment portfolio.
Okay.
This preparation gave her a clear direction and helped her stay focused.
So she was prepared and protected.
Yes,
But did she really stick with it for 10 whole years?
she did.
That's some serious dedication.
Absolutely. That's where persistence comes in.
Okay.
Sarah diligently made those loan payments every month, no matter what,
Wow.
while also consistently contributing to her investments.
Mm-hmm.
She understood that small, regular actions taken over time would eventually lead to big results.
Right.
And she was right.
Good for her.
After a decade, she not only wiped out her student debt,
Amazing.
but also built a $500,000 portfolio.
Wow. That's incredible.
The power of persistence.
Yeah, it's like she transformed that financial pressure of student debt into a pearl of wealth.
Yeah.
Okay, so the Oyster method is about protection, preparation, persistence,
Yes.
and of course, patience.
Right.
But where does the shell and stone strategy fit into all of this?
So think of it this way. The Oyster method is the overall philosophy,
Okay.
the guiding principle.
Mm-hmm.
The shell and stone strategy is a specific tactic within that framework,
Okay.
a way to make smart choices about how you use your resources.
Okay.
It focuses on the distinction between investments designed for long-term compound growth,
Okay.
your shells,
Okay.
and tools for managing short-term needs,
Mm-hmm.
your stones.
Okay, I'm starting to see how this metaphor works.
Yeah.
So shells are those precious pearls, the investments you want to protect
Yes.
and let grow over time.
Uh-huh.
And stones are...
Think of stones as simple interest tools.
Okay,
Things like personal loans or lines of credit.
gotcha.
They serve a specific purpose, but they don't have that same exponential growth potential as shells.
Right.
The core principle of the shell and stone strategy is protect your shells for the long haul
Okay.
and use stones strategically for those short-term needs.
So you're saying never crack open a shell when a stone can do the job.
That's right.
But why is this distinction so crucial?
Yeah.
What's the big deal about compound interest versus simple interest?
Compound interest is where the magic happens.
Okay.
It's like a snowball rolling downhill. It starts small, but as it gathers more snow, it grows bigger and bigger, faster and faster.
Right.
It's all about that exponential growth over time.
Okay.
Simple interest, on the other hand, is linear.
Okay.
It grows at a steady rate, but it doesn't have that same snowball effect.
So when you tap into your compound interest investments
Yeah,
for short-term needs, you're essentially stopping that snowball in its tracks.
exactly.
You're cracking open that shell and disrupting the magic.
You got it.
Let's say you need money for a home renovation project. You could dip into your retirement savings,
Right.
crack it open a shell,
Yeah,
but that would mean sacrificing years of potential compound growth.
right.
On the other hand, you could take out a low-interest home improvement loan
Exactly.
using a stone
Uh-huh.
and keep those shells growing undisturbed.
That's the strategy.
That's a great example.
Yeah.
But do we have any real-world evidence to support this shells and stones approach?
There's a fascinating anecdote about Maya,
Okay.
a diver who spent time observing oyster farmers.
Okay.
She noticed that these farmers, even when they needed money for daily expenses,
Yeah.
never harvested their pearls prematurely.
Interesting.
Instead, they used simple stones found on the shore as a form of currency,
Wow.
allowing their oysters to mature undisturbed.
So those oyster farmers were already living the shell and stone strategy
Yeah.
centuries ago.
Pretty much.
That's incredible.
It is.
And it makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
They knew
Yeah.
that letting those pearls grow would ultimately lead to greater wealth.
Exactly. It's about playing the long game, recognizing that sometimes the best way to build wealth is to let those shells mature undisturbed.
Right.
It's about discipline and strategic resource allocation.
Okay.
And guess what? This whole approach ties in beautifully with those secured beliefs we've talked about before.
You're right. Secured is like our financial compass,
Yes.
guiding us towards a more secure future.
Exactly.
But how exactly does the shell and stone strategy fit into those beliefs?
Yeah.
They seem like separate concepts.
They're more connected than you might think.
Okay.
For example, one of the secured beliefs is seize financial control.
Right.
The shell and stone strategy embodies this by encouraging you to make conscious, intentional choices about how you allocate your resources.
Okay.
Are you protecting those shells or cracking them open prematurely?
So using stone strategically is a way to seize financial control
Yeah.
because you're making a deliberate choice to preserve your long-term growth.
Exactly. And another secured belief is embrace mastery of cash flow.
Okay.
The shell and stone strategy supports this by emphasizing the strategic use of those stones, those simple interest tools to manage your spending.
Yeah.
Instead of relying on high interest credit cards or depleting your shells for every unexpected expense,
Yeah.
you have a plan for using stones in a way that aligns with your overall financial goals.
Okay. I'm starting to see how these pieces fit together. Protecting your shells is about developing wealth and a lasting legacy.
Yes.
Another secured belief,
Uh-huh.
it's all connected.
It is. And speaking of connections,
Yeah.
there's another concept I want to touch on that relates to all of this.
Okay.
The ideal financial instrument.
Okay.
It's something to keep in mind as we explore the shell and stone strategy further.
The ideal financial instrument.
Yes.
That sounds intriguing.
It is.
What exactly are we talking about here?
Imagine a financial tool that checks all the boxes.
All right.
Liquidity, safety, guaranteed growth, tax advantages,
Wow.
flexibility, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah, the whole 9 yards.
Now, while no single product may perfectly embody every single characteristic,
Right.
the pursuit of this ideal financial instrument
Okay.
encourages us to be thoughtful and strategic about our financial planning. It prompts us to ask,
Okay.
does this tool align with my long-term goals?
Right.
Is it protecting my shells and supporting my overall financial strategy?
So it's like a North Star,
Yeah,
guiding us towards financial tools that truly serve our best interests.
exactly.
But in reality, does this ideal instrument even exist?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
And honestly, it's a question worth exploring.
Okay.
This idea of a financial tool that checks all the boxes for safety, growth, and flexibility.
Right. You mentioned that whole life insurance is often considered a strong contender
Yes,
for this ideal financial instrument.
it is, and that's because it offers a unique combination of features
Okay.
that align well with the shell and stone strategy.
Okay.
For instance, it provides a death benefit. which offers a layer of protection for your loved ones.
Right.
But it also builds cash value over time,
Okay.
which acts like a protected shell that can grow steadily.
So it's like having a shell within a shell.
Yeah,
You're protecting your family with a death benefit
right.
and simultaneously building wealth with that growing cash value.
Exactly. And here's where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
With a whole life insurance policy,
Mm-hmm.
you can actually access that cash value through policy loans.
Wait, so you're saying you can use a whole life insurance policy as a stone?
You got it.
Wow.
And because these loans are taken against your own cash value,
Okay.
they typically have lower interest rates than traditional personal loans.
Right.
Plus, you're not dipping into your investment accounts or disrupting that precious compound interest growth.
That's incredible. So you're essentially using your shell as collateral to borrow from yourself,
Right.
which in turn allows you to preserve the growth of that shell.
Yeah.
Like a financial perpetual motion machine.
It's a pretty powerful concept, right?
It is.
And it highlights how whole life insurance,
Mhm.
when structured correctly,
Right.
can play a dynamic role in your overall financial strategy.
Right.
It can act as both a shell for long-term growth
Okay.
and a stone for managing short-term needs.
This is blowing my mind.
It's cool.
But before we get too carried away with whole life insurance,
Yeah.
let's step back and remember that the shell and stone strategy is about using the right tools for the right purpose.
You're absolutely right.
It's about having a diversified financial toolkit
Yes.
and understanding the strengths and weaknesses of different instruments.
Mm-hmm.
Whole life insurance may be a great fit for some,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not a one-size-fits-all solution.
Correct.
Okay, that makes sense. So let's shift gears a bit
Sure.
and talk about a concept that really resonated with me,
Okay.
the living jacket.
Yes.
Can you remind our listeners how this idea relates to the shell and stone strategy?
Absolutely. Remember, the traditional emergency fund, that
Yeah.
umbrella we often rely on,
Mm-hmm.
offers static protection.
Okay.
It sits there in a bank account.
Yeah.
Hopefully growing slowly, but often losing purchasing power due to inflation.
And the living jacket addresses this problem by...
By offering protection that grows with you.
Okay.
A properly structured whole life insurance policy acts like a jacket
Okay.
that expands as your needs evolve.
Okay.
It offers growing cash value,
Mm.
a death benefit that provides a legacy for your loved ones,
Right.
and even the flexibility to access funds when you need them
Okay.
without disrupting that long-term growth.
So in a way, a whole life insurance policy can act as both a shell and a living jacket.
Exactly. It's a multifaceted tool
Okay.
that can play different roles in your financial plan.
Right.
And just like a living jacket keeps you afloat in turbulent waters,
Yeah.
a whole life policy can provide financial stability and flexibility when unexpected challenges arise.
This is making me rethink my whole approach to emergency preparedness.
Yeah,
It's not just about having a fixed sum of money sitting as a savings account.
right.
It's about having a dynamic tool that can adapt and grow alongside my needs.
You're getting it. And remember the story of Sarah and Michael,
Yeah.
those colleagues who faced unexpected emergencies.
Mm-hmm.
Sarah relied on her static umbrella
Okay.
and found herself struggling to keep up.
Right.
Michael, on the other hand, had built a living jacket
Okay.
through a whole life insurance policy and was able to navigate that challenging situation with greater ease and peace of mind.
Wow, good for Michael.
He was able to use a policy loan, a stone,
Okay.
to cover those unexpected costs
Uh-huh.
while preserving the long-term growth of his cash value, his shell.
It's a powerful example of how a dynamic approach to protection can make all the difference.
Yeah.
So how does someone actually start building this living jacket?
Well, it starts with understanding your individual needs and goals.
Okay.
How much coverage do you need?
Right.
What are your long-term financial aspirations?
Mm-hmm.
A qualified financial professional can help you determine the right policy
Okay.
and structure it in a way that aligns with your overall financial plan.
This is a lot to take in,
Yeah.
but I'm already starting to see how these concepts can be applied in a practical way.
And that's the beauty of the shell and stone strategy. It's
Mhm.
not about memorizing complex formulas or following rigid rules.
Right.
It's about understanding the fundamental principles and applying them in a way that makes sense for your unique situation.
It's about being intentional and proactive with your finances rather than reactive and impulsive.
Exactly. And speaking of proactive planning,
Yes.
I want to touch on a topic that's particularly close to my heart,
Okay.
planning for our children's financial future.
Ah, yes. There's that fascinating idea of Whole life insurance as a financial vaccine for kids.
Yes.
What a powerful analogy.
It reframes our thinking about how we approach our children's financial well-being.
Right.
Instead of waiting for them to reach adulthood and then scrambling to catch them up,
Yeah.
we can give them a financial head start by investing in their future from day one.
And the financial vaccine of choice in this case is?
A whole life insurance policy.
Okay.
Just like a vaccine protects against disease,
Right.
a whole life policy can provide our children with a lifetime of financial protection, growth, and flexibility.
It's like equipping them with a financial shield that grows stronger over time.
Exactly. And remember, this proactive approach doesn't negate the importance of other financial tools and strategies.
Right.
It simply adds another layer of protection and opportunity,
Right.
creating a more holistic and resilient financial plan.
It's about diversifying our financial toolkit, equipping ourselves and our loved ones with a range of resources to navigate the inevitable ups and downs of life.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
This has been such an insightful conversation.
It has.
I'm sure our listeners are already thinking about how they can apply these concepts in their own lives and with their families.
I hope so.
I know I am. But before we move on to our final part,
Okay.
I want to hear from you.
Sure.
What's the one key takeaway you want our listeners to remember from this deep dive into the shell and stone strategy?
The core message is this.
Okay.
It's about making informed choices, understanding the different roles that financial tools play, and building a strategy that protects your long-term growth while addressing your short-term needs.
It's about creating a financial roadmap that guides you towards your goals, equipping you with the knowledge and resources to navigate the complexities of the financial world with confidence and peace of mind.
Exactly. And if you're feeling overwhelmed or unsure where to start, don't hesitate to reach out for professional guidance.
Okay.
Safeably. Simple Sound is a fantastic resource,
It is.
offering personalized support to help you tailor this approach to your unique circumstances.
That's great advice.
Yeah.
Now, I know our listeners are eager to hear even more practical tips
Sure.
for protecting their shells and using those stones effectively.
Oh, okay.
So where do we go from here?
Let's circle back to the concept of the protection audit.
Okay.
Remember, this is all about identifying those potential threats that could disrupt the growth of your shells, those long-term investments you're carefully nurturing.
Right. It's like a financial risk assessment for our precious pearls.
Exactly.
We need to be aware of what could damage them.
Exactly. And one of the most common threats is unexpected expenses.
Right.
Life has a way of throwing curveballs, whether it's a sudden medical bill,
Oh, yeah.
a major car repair, or a leaky roof that needs immediate attention.
Those unexpected expenses can feel like a punch to the gut,
They can.
especially when you're diligently working towards your financial goals.
Yeah.
It's tempting to just dip into those shells to cover the cost.
I know it's tempting, but that's precisely what we want to avoid.
Right.
Remember, every time you crack open a shell, you're disrupting that beautiful compound interest growth.
Right.
That's why having a robust emergency fund is so crucial.
Ah, the trusty emergency fund is like our first line of defense against those financial surprises.
It is.
But how much should we have in our emergency fund?
A good rule of thumb is to aim for 3 to 6 months worth of living expenses.
Okay.
This provides a cushion to cover those unexpected costs
Okay.
without having to tap into your long-term investments.
Okay.
And remember, this emergency fund acts like a stone.
Mm-hmm.
It's there to be used when needed.
Okay, so unexpected expenses, we've got that covered. But what about those larger, more predictable expenses, like a down payment on a home or funding a child's education?
That's where our stone strategy really comes into play. Remember, stones represent those simple interest tools.
Okay.
Things like personal loans or lines of credit that we can use strategically to manage those bigger expenses.
Right. Instead of raiding our shells and sacrificing years of compound growth, we can leverage the power of stones.
Exactly. And the key here is to be strategic.
Okay.
Don't just jump into the first loan you come across.
Right.
Shop around, compare interest rates, repayment terms, and any associated fees.
It's like being a financial detective, gathering all the clues before making a move.
I love that analogy. And speaking of detectives,
Yes.
here are a few specific stone strategies that can be particularly helpful for managing those larger expenses.
Oh, give us the inside scoop.
One option is a home equity line of credit, or HELOC.
Okay.
This allows you to borrow against the equity you've built in your home, often at a lower interest rate than a personal loan.
So you're essentially using your home as leverage to access funds for those big ticket items.
Exactly. And another strategy is to consider a low interest personal loan,
Okay.
especially if you have good credit. There are many online lenders who offer competitive rates and flexible repayment terms.
It's amazing how many options are available these days. But with so many choices, it can feel overwhelming to know where to start.
That's where working with a knowledgeable financial professional can be invaluable.
Okay?
They can help you navigate those options, assess your individual needs, and guide you towards the best stone strategies for your situation.
It's like having a financial Sherpa guiding you through the complex terrain of loans and lines of credit. Okay, so we've talked about protecting our shells from unexpected expenses
Yeah.
and using stones strategically for those larger planned expenses. But there's another crucial element to all of this, our mindset.
Ah, yes, the mental game of wealth building.
Yeah.
This is often overlooked, but it's absolutely essential.
Right.
You can have all the right tools and strategies in place, but if your mindset isn't aligned with your goals, it's easy to get derailed.
So what are some key mindset shifts that can help us successfully implement the shell and stone strategy?
One of the most important is embracing patience.
Okay.
Remember, the shell and stone strategy is a marathon, not a sprint.
Right.
It's about understanding that compound interest takes time to work its magic.
Right. It's like watching those pearls slowly develop within the oyster's shell. We can't rush the process.
Exactly. And if we get impatient, if we
Yeah.
constantly try to peek inside the shell
Mhm.
or force those pearls to grow faster,
Right.
we risk damaging them.
Yeah.
It's the same with our investments. If
Ah.
we're constantly chasing quick wins or get-rich-quick schemes,
Yeah.
we're more likely to make impulsive decisions that could jeopardize our long-term progress.
So patience, persistence, and discipline are key.
Absolutely.
It's about trusting the process and staying committed to our goals, even when the results aren't immediately visible.
Exactly. And another crucial mindset shift is cultivating a sense of gratitude for what we already have.
Oh.
It's so easy to get caught up in the more mentality, but when we take the time to appreciate the resources we already have, it shifts our perspective from scarcity to abundance.
It's like acknowledging those shells we've already cultivated and appreciating their value.
Uh-huh.
And when we feel grateful for what we have, we're less likely to make impulsive choices that could damage our shells or disrupt our long-term growth.
Precisely, gratitude is a powerful antidote to impulsivity.
Right.
It helps us make those wise strategic decisions that are aligned with our long-term vision.
This has been such an eye-opening conversation. I feel like I have a whole new understanding of how to approach my finances.
Good.
It's not just about saving money or investing wisely.
Right.
It's about creating a holistic strategy that encompasses both our actions and our mindset.
And that's the heart of the shell and stone strategy.
It is.
It's about recognizing that financial well-being is a journey, not a destination. It's about making informed choices,
Right.
embracing patience and gratitude,
Yeah.
and building a financial future that is both secure and fulfilling.
Yep. And remember, you don't have to navigate this journey alone. The team at Safe Simple Sound is there to provide personalized guidance and support every step of the way.
Absolutely. They can help you create a customized shell and stone strategy that aligns with your unique circumstances and goals.
Okay.
Whether you're just starting out on your financial journey
Yeah.
or you're a seasoned investor, their expertise can help you take your financial well-being to the next level.
This has been an incredible deep dive. I'm so grateful for your insights and expertise. I feel equipped with a whole new set of tools and a fresh perspective to tackle my financial goals.
Wonderful.
Thank you for joining us on this empowering journey. We hope you've gained valuable insights and practical strategies to help you build a brighter financial future.
My pleasure. It's been great being here.
And to our listeners, we'll see you next time.
Thanks for joining us for today's deep dive into the shell and stone strategy. I hope this episode gave you valuable insights into building a financial plan that balances long term growth with short term flexibility. Remember, patience and informed choices are the key to preserving your shells and strategically using your stones. If you are ready to take the next step in your financial journey, reach out to Safe Simple Sound. We are here to help you design a personalized plan that aligns with your goals and circumstances. Until next time, keep building that legacy with confidence.